Hey YouTube, Zeth8 here. We're going to be talking about zoning hooks in this video, and this is a really important hook mechanic. You can use it on, Nautilus, Pike, Thresh, Blitzcrank, or maybe even champions with snares or like Ari's Charm. It's kind of an overarching concept. So we're just going to be focusing on Thresh because that's who I play. So there's kind of two categories. There's offensive zoning hooks and there's defensive zoning hooks. So first we're going to get into offensive, and the way I like to think about it is that if you throw this hook and the hook hits the enemy will die. But if you throw the hook and it misses the enemy will still die. So that's clearly the ideal zoning hook, and I'm gonna show you a couple examples, and then I'll also show you a couple examples from some of my montages at the end. So you have like real game examples. Okay, so first we'll start off here. Let's say you have a junk. Let's say like you just killed the enemy ADC. You're in this cool position now where you're looking for the enemy support. The enemy support has no flashes, no cooldowns. Just like let's say it's a Lux who just missed everything, and your jungle Volibear is coming in. So where are you gonna, let's say you have your hook up, where are you gonna throw your hook? Maybe if you're in bronze, you're thinking, oh, they're just gonna keep running straight. I'll throw my hook over here. Maybe if you're in platinum, you're gonna think, oh, the enemy might juke backwards, so I'll throw my hook over here. If you're in higher elo, you might think, oh, they're gonna stop command, so I should throw it like here because they'll stop command here. But the actual answer to this question, there's actually only one answer here. And I'll give you a sec to like think about it because it doesn't matter what elo you're in, right? A zoning hook is just the most ideal hook in any scenario, really. So in this, oh, not in any scenario, but like especially in this case, these types of cases. So you're gonna actually want to throw your hook about here, and I'll tell you why. If the enemy runs into the hook and you hook them, you kill them. But what if your hook misses? The enemy has no flash up, no cooldowns. If they juke backwards, they're actually making themselves run further away, like pretend that's their tower. They're running further away from their own tower. So that gives your jungler time to catch up and then you can kill them, right? So if you throw your hook here, it misses, you kill them. If it hits, you kill them. If you throw your hook over here, say they're gonna juke backwards. If it hits, you kill them. But if it misses, then they can get away under tower. They might be able to kill your Volibear. So, just to kind of introduce you to this concept where there is, in certain scenarios, there is an ideal hook. And the reason it's called a zoning hook is because you're pretty much zoning them out from running over here. So, like, you're saying they can't run past, like, this line. You're zoning them from this area. And by doing that, you're securing a kill. Okay. So, I'll give you another example. Hopefully, you were able to understand that one pretty well. So, let's say that uh, there's you, your ally. Let's say that there's a Morgana on the enemy team, right? This is the enemy ADC. So you're just farming and everything. The enemy ADC steps over here for some reason. It's clearly a mistake. They're now in your hook range. So where are you going to throw your hook? That's kind of the question. So think about it. The enemy supports Morgana, your ADC, their ADC. Minions are like in the middle here. Where are you throwing your hook? And the answer should be like right here. Or, like trying. So throwing it here, the enemy ADC is going to want protection from Morgana, right? To get her shield. So this is Morgana's like E range. It kind of goes like here. So if your enemy ADC runs to get into her E range, you can hook him out, which then means you get to kill him, right? Because your hook lands, you can kill him now. But what if this hook misses? What if he dodges upwards? Well, then you can chase him up the river, and now he's even further away from Morgana. So by throwing your hook here, you can kill the enemy ADC if he misses, or if the hook misses, or if the hook hits too. Okay. Okay, hopefully you understood those offensive examples pretty well. These are kind of like practice scenarios. Although this one actually happened to me in a game, but then after this, we'll look into some real game examples. So for the offensive examples, you kind of got a little taste of this. So the first one, obviously, we're zoning the enemy away from their own tower. So the enemy's moving and the tower's stationary. Then in the next example, it's a lot more complicated because now you have Morgana's E range and you're trying to zone out the enemy from like another player almost, right? So this is kind of that same concept. We have two moving parts, but let's say there's a gank where your ADC is really low health. This is the enemy jungler with a dash like a Wukong, even Diana or Shaco's Q or whatever, and like enemy ADC support. And here we have two moving parts. So we want to try we're basically zoning out the enemy jungler with a dash from our carry. So it's very similar to zoning out the enemy Jin from like the enemy Morgana, sorry, like the enemy ADC. Let's say it was Jin from the Morgana, but it's going to be kind of like opposite because or it's not the opposite because you're looking at Wukong's E range, right? Like his dash range. Say you're kind of looking at it just like it's Morgana's E range. So you're gonna want to hook at like the end edge of the range, and if you're lucky, you might be able to interrupt his dash. Or if he dashes and your ADC lives with 20 health, you might be able to get the kill under the tower. So this is a really good scenario to look for because a lot of times people just keep running away or they throw a lantern, but it's pointless because then he dies from the Wukong anyway. So it's important when you notice these scenarios and these opportunities, make sure you understand, you can throw a hook here and potentially get a kill and save an ally rather than just running away. So again, this is a little more complicated because there's like two moving parts, but it's that same concept where there's a range on an ability and either you're trying to hook on like the edge of that range to either get a kill or to save your ally. All right, so we're going to jump into some gameplay examples now. Okay, so now we're going to talk about some in-game examples. I have two clips, one for offensive, one for defensive, and I'll just run the clip so you can see it. Okay. All right, so as we can see, the enemy tried to all in us, but we survived, and they're running back, and um, their Braum is really low health, Jhin is still full health. They use a lot of their abilities, etc. Braum's really low. I know Caitlyn is R up, so I'm kind of hoping she presses R, and she does. So now we're in the scenario where Braum is going to die unless Jhin can do something about it, which is unless Jhin can stand in front of Braum. Kind of ironic because Braum stands in front of people, but um, here we have to protect Jhin. So I mean, we have to keep Jhin away from Braum. So if we're thinking about it, like the turret, right? Uh, how do I want to say this? So Braum is like the the turret, and Jin is kind of like the enemy who wants to get to their tower. You know what I mean? Like Jin wants to run to Braum. Basically, he wants to give Braum safety, and we have to somehow deny him that safety. So what I end up doing is I'm throwing a hook. Like if you watch the hook, I'm throwing it like here. So that way, I'm not trying to hit Jin, but I'm trying to just make sure he cannot walk upwards. So if you look, I kind of threw it like here. This forces Jin to run down because you can't, because the way I threw it, if he dodged up, the hook would have hit him. And if the hook hit him, then he would have died. So we would have gotten a kill either way. So again, this is like the ideal zoning hook because you throw it, if it hits him, he dies. But if it misses, someone else dies. So it works for us. And you can see I zoned him out and I completely zoned him out. So Braum even used flash here, but like he just could not survive. So it's situations like this where zoning is like really it's an important concept to know, but like trying to execute it this fast and recognizing the situation, this will take practice, but just knowing that there's an opportunity where you have to keep, an enemy away from another enemy, or even like using their thinking about their abilities like Morgana's E range. You'll get used to it, but it's definitely something like that happens. It might not happen every game, but it definitely happens every other game. Okay, so now we're gonna look at the defensive hook example. Oh, oops. Okay. Oh yeah, that play was from that one was from Clean Plays 6, by the way. This one is from Wicked Hooks 10. All right, so basically here in the situation we have Skarner chasing two allies. I'm running down, and from Skarner's point of view, he can only see these two, and so he doesn't know where I am, he doesn't know where Zed is. So basically, if they get to the bush, which is like the safe zone, then Skarner has to give up. So Skarner has to go on them before they get to the safe zone, right? Because he's trying to kill them. He doesn't want to risk getting a 4v1. So I'm going to kind of compare this to the turret, right? So let's say this is the Wukong. This is your enemy low ally ADC, and this is like the turret range, or the safe zone. I know Skarner's flash is up, so and I know he has to kill them before they hit the bush because that would just be a really greedy play, and he doesn't want to do that. So gonna go ahead and throw my hook, on my AD carry in case he uses that gap closer. It could be a Diana, a Wukong, a Gragas, whatever, and or just someone using flash here. And by doing this, I'm kind of zoning, so that way if the hook lands, we can kill him and they live. But if the hook misses, they can still live. I can walk up, I can flay, I still have my locket active. We could kill him too if he overextends. But basically, I have nothing to lose by throwing this hook. And I only have something to gain. So I throw it, and voila, he flashes because they're about to walk into the bush. It was his last chance to get them, and we end up getting the kill here. So I'll let you watch that. Just so yeah, and then later I throw another hook here, and just quickly, if you see he's like running straight. So what I'm doing with this hook is I'm kind of forcing him to like dodge because he's faster than us on a straight line, right? So if I throw the hook right at him, it forces him to take a side step, which slows him down, right? Because by stepping two steps this way, that gives us two steps closer. And by doing that, we were able to, Evelyn was able to like use her R and get him. So that's kind of another. So I kind of had two zoning hooks here, but this one is kind of opposite because there was no range, right? We're trying to actually slow him down. If we hit him, then we hit him. That's great. But if we miss, then we at least slow him down a little by making him kind of go off the path, if that makes sense. So yeah, hopefully that was a good explanation. Maybe if you haven't heard of zoning hooks before, hopefully you find this helpful. And if you have any comments, ideas, suggestions, definitely let me know. And I'll see you next time.